Okay, this reading is for April Capricorn. I'm going to start here in the middle. The Aries energy gave us all a push. So I asked, what is this push about, or what is happening immediately that you need to deal with? Then I asked, what were you dealing with last year, or what have you cleared, or what is behind you in your rearview mirror? This would be most of 2022 up until like February of 23 energy. Then up here, I asked, what does your higher self want you to manifest from this situation? And then here this is moving into towards the end of April. The energies particularly that are going to be brought in by the eclipse, and then going into the eclipse season, which will actually last through October. But here I have what needs to grow in order for you to manifest what it is that your higher self wants you to manifest. And then what is the eclipse specifically bringing you? That eclipse is next week, actually. But we have eclipse season is also in May, so we have another one in May, and this energy will go through October. Okay, so let's start off with here. What is this push about, or what is this current situation? So you have something that you have to let go, but you don't see that you have to let it go. It's causing you a lot of anxiety and stress. It has to do something either with something in your family, or something about a family, or something having to do with like your ultimate, what you see as your ultimate happy ever after. Okay, so this is what I call the Quan card in Jerry Maguire, when he's like, no, I want the Quan, that's all of it. I want the family and the job and the children and the happiness and the community. Okay, that's the Quan. So there's something that is causing you extreme stress in your Quan. Okay, your view of happily ever after is what we're dealing with. There's some kind of problem where there's some kind of dogma. I want to say, so this can represent like a dogma. It can also represent an institution like a marriage, or a church, or the government, or something like that. So, if your Quan involves maybe like a church community, there could be some kind of trouble there. But it also can just represent a rigid way of thinking. So you have here that you have to let go of something. Okay, you've and I'm going to talk about let go and let God up there, because you've got this card twice. Okay, and this is kind of when you get this card, it's like there's a switch, there's a change. Something is changing, and you're going to be on a new path. But you gotta let go of something, and it has to do with probably has to do with a rigid way of thinking, and you don't see it yet. The best thing to do right now, because this is causing you a lot of stress and anxiety. Okay, so whatever this is, okay, you know what I'm talking about. Whatever this is, you are losing sleep over it. Okay, the situation that you're dealing with right now that you are losing sleep over, that's what I'm talking about. There is some kind of rigid way of thinking in this situation. It has to do with your family or happiness, or your view of happiness, and there's something that you have to let go of, but you don't see it yet. The best thing to do right now is to take some rest. I know Capricorns are one of those signs that tend to do too much. Just see this dude, do this. Just go chill in the forest for a bit. You need to take some rest. There's a lot of other cards actually here that indicate that you need to take a pause. So we're gonna concentrate on that as well. So let's look at what's in your past. Okay, so you were busy. This is building something. So this is or finishing up a project. So it could be a passion project, or something that you're very passionate about that you were working very hard at last year. it did involve the signing of a contract of some kind. So this could be a marriage, this could be a job, this could be a house, something where you've signed on the dotted line and you've given your hard-earned money towards it. That's what you were working on last year, okay? And you've cleared that. And this could have to do with this. That is it doesn't have to, but it is a possibility. Because, when you work really hard at something and you sign your name on a contract, that makes it super hard to let go. Just saying, if that's the case. But these do not have to be related. This is just what you've been working on in the past year. So for you, Capricorn, in 2022, you were very busy. And you were trying whatever this was, that this project that you were doing. You were concentrating most of your energies on that. So let's look and see what your higher self wants you to manifest. And here's this card again. These two cards together mean let go and let God. So you've got the Hanged Man with the Wheel of Fortune, which is like karma, essentially. So, and then you've got the Hierophant again. So this has to do with a rigid way of thinking. Or some kind of dogma that you're following, or so there's something that you have to let go and let God. And then just trust that God has a plan for whatever it is that you're holding on to tightly for. And that it's all going to work out in the end like it's supposed to work out. I don't see a divorce card, so I don't think that it's like a divorce situation. But, it could be. This can mean marriage. That is one interpretation of it. It also can mean a church community. It could also mean a spiritual leader or spiritual teacher. Like if the spiritual leader or teacher is teaching a dogma that is no longer serving you, it could be that situation. Or if the church is no longer serving you. Or it just could be a rigid way of thinking that's keeping you stuck. This is a very stuck energy. You're stuck in this vision of happiness that you have for... You're holding on too much control over this. So your higher self wants you to be in this energy. Okay, this is... Look how happy that person is. Okay, in the water, just flowing and chilling with the sun. Okay, this is a very flow. When you let go and let God, you get into a flow, which is why this card is called flow. This is the karma card. It is the wheel. It is the end of something. So something has to end that you don't want to let go of. That's what's happening, because the wheel is an end, but it's an end that is fated. It's a fated end, so it's meant to be an end, but you have to flow into it. And this is in the flow too. So let go and let God helps you get into flow. So let's look and see what needs to grow for your higher self to manifest what it is that it wants to manifest. First of all, you've got this glow inside of you that wants to grow. This is the glow up card that sometimes I like to call it, but there's a spark inside of you that you have been neglecting. So it gives you kind of this restless, you're going to have this like kind of restless energy. But there's some kind of either project or, something that wants to be birthed through you. There's something that wants to come through you that is something you're meant to do, and you've been neglecting it. In order to find out what this is, go back to your childhood. There's some kind of, when you were a kid and you said, I want to be a blah, blah, blah when I grow up. But like, okay, let's say you were a kid and you're like, I want to be a astronaut when I grow up, but you're like working as an accountant If there's any kind of situation like that, go back to what it was that you wanted to do when you were a kid. If it's not that, then it's a feeling that you had when you were a kid. And it may just be like, when we were young and kids, we had more freedom. It may just be you need to get yourself free. And this may be about freedom as well, because there's a lot of letting go cards here. So let's look and see what specifically the eclipse is bringing you. Okay, so this can indicate comparing yourself with others. So if this is some kind of dogma or rigid way of thinking, so it's like, I should, if you're shoulding all over yourself or somebody else, I should be doing blah, 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 or you should be doing blah, blah, blah. A lot of times that should comes from a vision that where you're comparing yourself to others around you, or where you think things should be as far as how society sees it. That can be the dogmatic kind of way of thinking. This can indicate a trying to keep up with the Joneses type of energy. If it's not keeping up with the Joneses, like literally, in as far as like what you have in your assets and stuff like that, it might be keeping up with the Joneses, like in a way of life type of thing. You might want to look at the community that you, so there's two different ways to read this. Either the community around you is going to help you, or you might want to look at the community around you to see if it is the problem. Because you've got these two, which is a comparing yourself to others, kind of a not satisfied with what you have and trying to compare yourself to others type of energy. But there's a healing that comes from this, okay? So here we have this card, which is the same as this card again, which is a letting go. So there's a change that needs to happen in you, in the way that you see yourself. Lao Tzu has a saying, and it says, I can't become what I'm meant to become by holding on to who I think I am. I totally butchered that, by the way, but it's something, it has to do with that. So this that needs to grow through you is about becoming who you're supposed to become. And you can't become who you're supposed to become if you're holding on to the current view of what you think you are. So if you think that you're, a church deacon in this community, and you're, a husband and a businessman, and what if all that's wrong, and you're really like a hermit? You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever you think you are in the roles that you play, that I think is what's going to be questioned in the roles that you're playing in your current life. There's something about a role that you're holding on to too strongly that you have to let it go. And this energy is going to be through October, so this is going to follow through the rest of the year. If you want, I do personal readings for Cash App donations. If you want one, you can email me. I'll put the link to that. And I'm thinking about maybe doing more readings for the eclipse season as well for each of the signs. So maybe you could look forward to that. All right. I hope you like your reading, Capricorn.